what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I'm back with another video here. Now, I just recorded my recap of the Flyers-Ducks game. Here's Saturday, October 28th. It's around 4:42 as I'm recording this, and I wanted to kind of sit down here and talk about the Morgan Frost situation. Obviously, everybody knows Morgan Frost hasn't played in 6 games. My overall thoughts on this is that it sucks. I mean, when you really sit there and you look, because again, I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I wanted to make a video to kind of sit down and just kind of talk about the whole thing. I guess some of the reasonings for my tweets too, because I've gotten a lot of feedback from people, and I don't think too many people are agreeing with me on the whole Frost thing, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I mean, it's a hockey conversation. It is what it is. As for the Frost thing, this is, again, like I said, 6 straight games where he's a healthy scratch. If you look at this in the grand scheme of things on the actual roster itself, there's the argument of, you know, who's going to come out, who doesn't play, yada, 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 all that stuff. Who does he come in for? And my answer has been Tyson Forrester. And that is not me saying that I think, Forrester has... or I should say that I think he's a bad player, or I don't like him. I've been getting comments about that. Oh, well, you don't like Forrester. I never said that. I've never said that one time, and I've literally said that in videos and podcasts everywhere. Anything I say about a player not playing bad, or in my opinion, does not mean I don't like them. Like, not once. I've never in my life rooted for a Flyer to fail, and you just can't. Like, it's just I just don't like that stuff. As for the Forrester thing, though, it's like, I don't think he's played well. And that's not me saying that I don't think he can't get better or anything. I just think he needs a couple games in Lehigh Valley. He looks lost. And I've said this back from the rookie game. Like, this isn't just because, just because Frost is getting sad. Like, no, like, I've said this for weeks now. The other thing, Bobby Brink has earned it. Like, he should stay in the lineup, and I think Forrester should go down. And you have to put Frost in somewhere. You have to fit him in. I don't get the whole, well, the fourth line has to stay together. Do I want Frost playing on the fourth line? No, but as of right now, this is 6 straight games, and it's like, well, shit. You might as well put him in and try to see what happens, I guess. I mean, it's not ideal, and I don't want that to happen at all. But it's like, you know, the other thing. Everybody likes to say that, you know, like, he doesn't produce or he doesn't put up points or all this stuff. It's like, but he does. Like, there's literal factual evidence that he puts up points. Through the final 41 games, he leads the team in points. Okay, and it's not like, and then there's the whole argument of like, well, he only scores against like Arizona and Anaheim. It's like, no, he doesn't. Like, last year, goals against Washington, Toronto, Tampa Bay. I believe he scored against Vegas, the Rangers. And that's just off the top of my head. Again, this is all no notes. Like, this is all off the top of my head. Which is, it's not true. Like, Owen Tippett last year, and again, this is not me saying I don't like Owen Tippett. I love Owen Tippett. He's one of my favorite players on this team. It's just, I want Frost to be involved. Like, I just find it so hard for me where people just kind of sit there and they'll just be like, oh, well, it's fine because we're winning. Like, no, like, you can't have a 24-year-old center in a rebuild. This is supposedly called a rebuild, right? And I'm not saying it's not, right? I'm just saying, like, that's what they're saying. That's what the Flyers have been calling this. The new era of orange, they're rebuilding, they're doing this, that, the other. You can't sit there and say that and then not play a 24-year-old center. Like, and I'm not saying that they're not rebuilding. They are. They clearly are. But at this point, if I'm Morgan, I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. That was me. Like, I mean, you just signed a 2-year contract, and right, and you had a little bit of hurdles with that and everything else. Like, it's not like the guy doesn't have talent. He does, and you saw it. I mean, he played with 38 different players last year. 38 different line combinations was what Frost was dealt with last year. The one was 30 games. It was him with Van Riemsdyk and Tippett, which was also I believe the start of the 4-point game against Arizona. They had the really good game. I think that line had 11 points combined. And, I think that was the start of that 30-game stretch. Well, in the beginning of the season, it was a lot of, guys in the bottom six and the fourth line, guys like Delorier, Sedlak, Brown, McEwen, etc. And then the second longest stretch of that was 17 games. That was with Van Riemsdyk and Farabee. So he played the most with James Van Riemsdyk. That's 47 games total. I think there were other games in there, maybe with JVR, that could have been like maybe one or two. But towards the end of the year, obviously they were hurt, and he's playing with guys like TK, Cates, right? He's playing with all these different other guys. I completely blanked on who was on the team last year. I believe he played with Hayes for a little bit, if it serves him right. But he had some really good games last year. Like, and again, I know it's last year, but it's really all you have because, and look, do I think Frost played good in the first two games? No. I thought he was, I thought he was okay in Columbus. I thought he had a couple turnovers and then he kind of made up for it. And then the Ottawa game, no one was good. And then he gets sat for 6. And I'm like, well, Tippett hasn't really done anything. Neither has Cates. And I'm like, well, why does he got to sit? You know what I mean? It's just like, and again, look, I know this is going to be, oh, well, you love Frost. Like, I already know I'm going to get comments about this, so it doesn't bother me. But the thing that I'm trying to say here is just the fact that you can't just, like, they're wasting his talent. And really, they're blowing his development. I mean, if you're going back to 2017, I mean, we still have conversations on if he's a center or a winger. Like, to me, I've said this for 2 years now. He should have been second line left wing last year. And I'm fine with trying him at center. That's perfectly fine with me. Because I think he even had moments last year where his faceoff percentage was going up. He actually had a really good start in the preseason with the faceoff percentage at 60%. I remember asking him about that too, and he was kind of just like, it seems like it's been going really good so far. He said he didn't even know the stat at the time. So again, I think he's had some moments where it's like, okay, like he can definitely play, and he can. You saw it. He put up points. It's not like, he went through last year and then just like kind of glided along. You saw stretches even in 21-22 towards the end of that year when he came back from getting called up. And Mike Yo praised him for it. And things have happened even in Lehigh Valley too, where he kind of was able to bounce back. There was one time where I think the Phantoms had like a 5-on-3 power play and Lappy didn't put him out there. And you're looking at the roster and you're like, this is like when the Phantoms were really, really bad a couple years ago. You're looking at the roster like, you got a 5-on-3 power play. It's your most offensive skilled player. Like, why isn't he out there? And it's sending a message. And Frost woke up from that. And he ended up, again, put up points. They had that really good game in 21-22, him, Cates, and Tippett against Pittsburgh, the 4-1 win late in the year. And, that carried in. And then he had a rough start in last year, ended the season really strong. I mean, Torts even said it in the training camp series, the videos the Flyers have been putting online on YouTube. They're really like behind the scenes stuff. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's like, I mean, Torts even said like he's been better defensively and everything else, and I'm sure that the quote's in there too. Like, like, you can go and find this stuff. Like me and Bill Meltzer, we talked about this on Flyers warm up. Like, to me, it's just a waste. And if I'm Morgan, I'm like, why am I even bothering like being here? Like, trade me, because and again, I don't want them to trade Frost because it's I think they can use him, but oh my God, like this is like the Gostisbehere thing all over again, where it's like AV just doesn't want to play him and he sits in the press box, and you're like, well, that's it, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much you can do. And look, I get it. People, I think there's, people, look, they want a fast start, and I get that. Like, with the way that this team has been the past couple of years, it's like any type of game like today against Anaheim or like anything, it's like, oh my God. You know what I mean? You just can't even, you just don't even want to be bothered. And I get that. It makes sense. But I just look at the whole Frost thing, and I'm just like, you know what? You're wasting his time. You're wasting years of his career in games that he could be playing. Like, to me, I think it's ridiculous that he hasn't played. Now, considering the Flyers lost today, he's gotta be in next game. And if he's not, then that's saying something. Because to me, I don't think this is just, oh well, he hasn't played well. Like, I think there's something there with Torts that's like, there's a disconnect. And I think at this point, it's really hard for me not to continuously think that, considering the way that this has been going on. I mean, this guy has talent. Like, he has skill. He has a lot of skill. Like, you see it in flashes. Are there times where it's like, yeah, a little more consistency? But you saw that towards the end of last year. When you put a guy with skill, Morgan Frost, with guys like Konechny, guys like Cates, guys like Tippett, guys like, I mean, Christ, even Couturier you could put him with and he'd be playing good. It doesn't matter who you're playing with. If you put, like, the numbers are there where it's like, if you put him in the bottom six with guys like Delorier, Brown, Sedlak, McEwen, the guys I talked about before, and then the other guys that I mentioned, and even the numbers of those guys he played with, he puts up points. He produced. I mean, I've never seen an argument where it's like, oh, well, we wanted to put up points, and it's like, oh, well, he only did it against Arizona. He put up points. It's an NHL team. I get it, it's the Coyotes, but, oh my God. I mean, you can't sit here and say, oh, well, he needs to put up points when he puts up points and then you complain about it. And it's the same thing with Forrester. It's like, oh, we'll give him time. Well, Frost gets 2 games and he gets sat for 6. So why are we giving Forrester time? And that's not me saying, like, and again, that's just answering the fan thing. Like, that's not me saying I want Forrester to just, like, be gone and never play again. Like, I think he needs a little bit of a reset. That's fine. And again, maybe this wakes up Frost. I don't know. I think this could actually hurt him more than it helps him, because this is 6 straight games now where he's just sitting. It's like, what do you even do? You know what I mean? It's like, how do you even come back from that? It's like if he doesn't come back and he doesn't have a great game, like, then what? You know what I mean? It's like, where's the leash then? Like, that's going to be the hardest thing for me to gauge, I think, and for most people to gauge. It's just like, what's the leash now? And again, this is not me, like, saying, like, I don't like Forrester or any of those other guys. I just think Forrester needs a little bit of a reset. I think his confidence is shot. I think you saw today on that one play, like, he had the pass on the power play and he goes to pass it back. It's like, dude, rip that. Like, you're Tyson Forrester. This guy was great last year in those 8 couple of games. And, I think it's just a little bit of a reset, and that's fine. I mean, I think he's just been a little off, even in development camp, too. Like, I remember saying that to Paul, who I run Maher Media with, like, we were like, dude, like, we haven't really noticed Forrester. And Brink looked really good and all that, too. So, look, again, it is what it is. I mean, like, there's only so much you can do here. If I'm Frost, you have to kind of, I'm assuming he probably is going to want some sort of move. It'll be interesting. We shall see. But yeah, thanks everybody again for all the support as always. Make sure to hit like, subscribe. Again, thank you seriously for all the support on the channel and all that stuff lately. It's been a lot of fun doing these videos, and again, every year, kind of growing and with Maher Media and everything else too. So seriously, thanks everybody again for all the support as always, and I will talk to you all again soon.